Every place where you're listening to the Life Signatures Radio, welcome. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and I hope you are doing fine. I hope that everything about you in your life is okay. And I know that coming to this episode and coming to listen to what I've got to say means that you are a searcher, you are a seeker, and probably you are in the right place. And I think that if you keep seeking, if you keep looking, you will land on to that which you are looking. Every seeker normally finds. And I endeavor every single morning, every single evening, every single afternoon, depending on whatever place it is that you are and whatever time it is that you're tuned on to this Signatures podcast. I endeavor to provide information, provide teaching, provide guidance on the subjects of purpose, productivity, and resilience to everyone who is seeking clarity in those areas, everyone who is seeking to find out inspiration and find out guidance, to find out teaching. We've just come off of a very long and powerful series. You should look at it. Over 20 episodes in that series. We were talking about things we can learn from Mike Tyson. And today we want to start. We will do maybe just 2 or so episodes in this one. And we're going to talk about why purpose, why with purpose pursuit, everyone is an inventor. Oh Lord, let's see how it goes. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Life Signatures podcast with Lawrence Namale. Lawrence is a life coach, author, and keynote speaker who loves to tackle different topics on purpose, productivity, and resilience. His mission in life is to awaken all your boundless possibilities available in you. Life Signatures podcast is dedicated to bring to reality every single person who knows that deep down in their gut, there's got to be more to life than this. And now, here is your host, Lawrence Namale.
When we talk about inventions in the world, big names come to mind. Big time names come to mind. You think of, is it Alexander Fleming? Is that guy's inventor? You think of Nikola Tesla. You think of Steve Wozniak, right? You think of Isaac Newton. Did he invent or discovered? You think of people who brought novelty into this world one way or other. I don't know if you can talk of William Shakespeare as an inventor. Invention is bringing forth something for the very first time in humanity. Like now, the guy who invented the wheel, the guy who invented flight, right? The guy who invented sliced bread. The guy who invented the computer world. Or the guy who invented the internet. Actually, the guys who came up with the internet, they did not know they're coming up with the internet, but they ended up coming with the internet. The guy who invented crisps, right? Potato chips. The Americans call it potato chips. We call it crisps. If you're in Uganda, it is crisps. There is a common denominator, friends. There's a common denominator with everyone who invented. Okay, in very few circumstances, very few situations did people invent when a gun was put on their head. Say, come up with this thing or you are dead. Very few situations. But things that have inspired the world, things that have made us a better human race, technologically improved us from the home front. When you go to your home, those days when we didn't have mobile phones, we had the telephone, the landline telephone, You had the television set. You had the cookers. Okay. If you didn't have a cooker, at least you had fire. Somebody invented that thing, right? Matchstick, matchboxes, charcoal stove, paraffin stove, whatever it is. Inventions around the world, they have one common denominator. I'm going to share with you why I think that everyone who has a purpose pursuit is potentially an inventor. Potentially an inventor in something novel, something of novelty in them. So place yourself in the same league as Henry Ford, Madame Curie, Albert Einstein. It's a pretty daunting task. What are you talking about? I cannot be like Einstein. I cannot be like Henry Ford. What are you talking about? I cannot be like all these big time hitters. And I posit here, however, that the makeup of the human is filled with potential for each person to be an inventor. Just Selah. That means pause for a minute and think about that. Yeah, the makeup of the human is that potentially all of us are filled with the seeds of invention. And those seeds of invention, I'm going to pause it here, those seeds of invention are there because all of us have purpose. So the common denominator, if I go ahead of myself, if I just allow myself to go ahead of myself, the common denominator with all these high-ranking, hard-hitting, big-time inventors, the common denominator is that P word, purpose. The guy who invented peanut butter, he was smack in the middle of what he was passionate about. The guys who invented flight, they were smack in the middle of what they were passionate about. Did they know they're going to invent flight? Did they know? No, they didn't. These things, all inventions were preceded by a serious interest by someone. If it wasn't a serious interest, it was an amalgamation of things coming together that someone was interested in. By the time the crisps were being invented, right? What was happening in there? It's an amalgamation of things. First of all, there was potatoes being made intentionally, and then this customer comes in and says, it's soggy, I want it dry. So it gets dry, and then they say it's too big, I want it thinner. And so the chef becomes so angry and pissed off, he makes it so thin, microfilm thin, that microfilm, but he makes it so thin in such a way that what, the customer is going to get mad, but the customer loves it, and voila, potato chips have been invented. You see, at the center of every invention, there is a preceding passion. The chef was smack in the middle of his passion. He was loving what he was doing. Nobody invented anything that they hated. Okay? Nobody came up with something. Okay, you might say, but the chef hated that thing that he came up with. No. He loved cooking. He loved cooking. Nobody put a gun on his head and told him, go to cook, go and become a cook. And it was actually shown because customers kept going to that and patronizing that restaurant that he was cooking at. Very few people, friends, very few people who have invented. Actually, I cannot think of any who invented. If you read the story of Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs coming up with Apple. Can we call them inventors? Yeah, we can. We could. Right? But if you look at their story, these guys were in love with what they were doing. They could actually do it for free. They were doing it for free. Until such a time that Steve Jobs said, wait a minute, let's put a price on it. And his instinct for business kicked in. It kicked in because there was a product that had already been invented. Very few people, in fact, I don't think there is any person out there who ever invented anything, did it on something that they hated, something that they did not want in the first place. So you see where we are going with this? What is the common denominator here? They loved what they were doing. How many people in this world have potential to love what they are doing or have love for something that they want to do? All of us. And it places us in the same drift, in the same wavelength, so to speak, with the Einsteins and the Henry Fords of this world. It places us together with the Edisons of this world. You know, people normally think that invention is a function of genius. You will be wrong. Invention is not necessarily the function of genius. It is the function of love and passion and purpose. Genius is a result of love, passion, purpose consistently over a long period of time. That's what genius is all about. So when someone looks at you and says, you are a genius, there is an area of life they are pointing at. They are saying that because some area of your life is exemplifying your genius attributes. Why? Because you've been at it. You are known for the attributes. You are known for the skills. You are known for the results in it. The exceptional, unmatched results with it. That's why you become a genius. And guess what? There is a potential and a possibility for all of us to be genius, and for all of us to come up with novelty in the areas of our passions, in the areas of where we have purpose. And at the end of the day, it is possible for us to be inventors. I know it's a stretch, and I'm going to continue stretching it tomorrow, even as we come to the end of the episode today. So, bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Life Signatures Radio. If you enjoyed today's show, subscribe to Life Signatures Radio on iTunes, Stitcher, or visit our website at lifesignatures.libsyn.com. Life Signatures Radio, fresh, clean, and inspiring.